It's your boy Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we're documenting my journey from Sorare Beginner to Sorare Boss, which is where I eventually want to get. Now, it's been an eventful week for Sorare. It's been an eventful week. We've had a Sorare roadmap announced, which a few weeks ago I didn't see coming. It does affect me, I'll go into that a bit more later. I'm not going to go too much into the roadmap. If you want to go into that, you can look that up. There's lots of other people talking about that at the moment. I'm going to focus on my Sorare journey. Still, I'm going to be looking at last game week, how I did, the future game week, how I'm going to do. They are changing the game, Sorare. And it's going to affect me. It's going to affect managers older than me in much more ways. I'm excited. I think it will still be good. I trust Sorare. I trust that it's going to be a fun experience still. However, there's controversy out there. Some people don't like certain things. Some people do. But for now, I'm going to focus on my Sorare journey and what I can do now. I mean, it's going to change in August this year. It's all going to change, the Sorare gameplay and how it works out. Some things aren't going to work out as well for me. For example, I've been buying Mexican cards recently. For the last week or so, I've been buying Mexican Sorare cards. With the new update in August, the Mexican League is now going to not be part of Challenger America, but part of a whole new league where I'm battling against teams like Celtic and Croatian teams and Austrian teams. So it's probably a bad time for me to have bought Mexican cards, especially when now they're all half price that I paid for. But luckily, I've not bought that many. And, these changes are coming in August. There's still a bit of gameplay to play before then. So I'm going to keep having fun with Sorare. I'm going to trust that the game, however it changes, is still going to be enjoyable for me. I'm going to document my journey. I'm going to still keep doing that. And nothing's going to change too much for me. So it was a good week for me last week. It was a good week. I did win my second threshold reward, which thresholds are going to be removed soon or changing soon. So I've got to enjoy the threshold wins while I can. So let's start off this video by looking at how I did last week in a week when I won my second threshold. Let's see then how I did last week in game week 447. I entered 4 leagues for the first time last week. There was a midweek set of fixtures, which mainly involved AFCON and a couple of small games here and there. I didn't have any teams for the midweek. I think I just entered a few academy teams. So my main weeks were last weekend, and this is how I did. As usual, cap 240 has been my priority. Now, with the Sorare update, the caps are going to be disappearing and thresholds are going to be changing a lot. So I think what I've basically got to do is just keep playing thresholds for now, kind of hope I can save up some money. And in August, when the gameplay changes, basically it's going to reward a lot more having in-season cards. And a lot of people are worried that old cards are going to be worthless. I don't think it's going to be the case, because the way they've described it, I mean, we still need to know more about how it's going to look. But the way Sorare have described it is that old cards will still be useful in playing competitions to win in-season cards. So I'm just hoping that I'm not panicking too much. I'm just hoping that my old cards are still going to be useful in the future. I'm still going to be using them, playing with them now, because the Cap 240 League still exists for now. The threshold still exists for now, even though they're tweaking them slightly. All I can do is play with what leagues there are currently available. And I do believe good cards are good cards. So with my thresholds, my strategy with my cards has always been get cards for the thresholds and also cards that are good young players that have good futures ahead of them. So part of my strategy has been buying injured players that have good futures ahead of them. Part of them has been buying good youngish players around 24, 25 who have good careers ahead of them. That shouldn't change. I'm not going to be selling my gallery. I'm not going to be panicking and selling all my cards, because even if these cards are in different leagues next year and it's harder and more competitive, I should still be able to play with them. And you never know with some of these players, they could get a move to a different team, a different league, where they're suddenly a star player, or in an easier league. So I'm not panicking too much. I am still targeting the cap 240 as my priority, especially while I can get my thresholds. I got my second last week. You can see my team here. 327 points, a really good score for the 240. Iwaniwi was the worst player and the goalkeeper, and I thought they had good games. Mari, as always, Pablo Mari defending. He's just on a roll at the moment. I think that's 3 weeks where he's got really good scores, and he's got a good game week coming up this week. So I'm loving Pablo Mari. Palinia has probably become my best card. It used to be Beste in Germany, who's still a great card, But Paulinho just seems to be hitting another level, and Fulham have a great game this week. So he's going to be in my team again this week, Paulinho, and captain. He's kind of now become my favorite card. And Bestairs is still a great card. And then my French striker in the second division, doing amazing, 84. These 4 cards all played on the weekend, and I needed him to hit, I think, something like 40. He smashed it. He scored, I think, twice. 84 points. So delighted with him. Delighted with his future. He looks like a great player. So the 240 did well. I won my second threshold. And the other leagues I targeted were the Premier League Specialist, which didn't do that great. Cap 220, which you can see didn't do great. Again, with the 220, what I'm really hoping for is Andy Robertson starts games soon. He's come off the bench twice now in his last 2 games. So his L15 is really low, and it means that I can make a better Cap 220 team. So I'm going to be playing Andy Robertson again in my 220s until his L15 catches up. For now, he's got a really low L15, and it means I can put in like Bestair, Sterling, you know, more expensive cards that I haven't usually been able to fit in my 220 team. So as you can see, Bestair did well again. Everyone else kind of did bad, but that was the risk I took with the 220. And I think the 220 competition, where they had an 8-week 220 competition and they calculated your score over 4 weeks, I think that's finishing now. So it's going back to more of a traditional 220 competition where you can win in that game week, which is good for me because I wasn't doing good in any of the 220s before. I was just hoping I'd have one really good week that would spike my average scores up, but it seems like it didn't, and I don't think I won anything from the 220 competition they just did. Premier League Specialist was a hit. Delighted to see Calvert-Lewin finally deliver. Calvert-Lewin's been quiet for a lot of weeks. It's a shame he's got Manchester City now. But going forward, I hope Calvert-Lewin's going to pick up a bit of form. And the 270, I kind of use just for the XP points, really. My goalkeeper's a non-playing goalkeeper. Reece James, I'm just trying to build up his XP points. And these 3 players, again, they're key players for me that I just wanted to build up the XP. So those were my teams last week. Another threshold meant some more money in the bank, which is great. I did already start spending some of that money. Let's have a look at that money now, shall we? Let's have a look at where I've been spending my money. So I've been buying cards from Mexico. Now I started this before the roadmap announcement, before they even announced that there was going to be a roadmap change. I had started buying Mexican cards, and it's a little bit annoying because these cards are all now much cheaper. So if I'd have just waited, I could have got them for cheaper. And if I'd have just waited, I might not have wanted to buy these cards. However, I've bought 4 cards from Mexico because I want to play Challenger America. I'm still going to be able to do that this week. I need to buy 1 more card. So I'm still going to have to buy another card from Mexico so I can pick 5. And I mean, I might not have bought these cards if I'd have seen the roadmap and seen that the Mexican League is going to be really hard next because you're going to be not competing against the MLS, Argentina, and Brazil. You're going to be competing against much more leagues, including still Argentina and maybe Brazil. I think I don't quite know, but you're going to be competing against other teams. Celtic are going to be in there. I always see Celtic cards doing really well, so it's going to be difficult. However, I still want Mexican cards. I maybe don't want as many as I was planning. I was planning, having quite a few and being able to rotate and have lots of young cards who I can kind of spot the emerging talents. I still want Mexican cards because I'm living in Mexico. I want to follow the Mexican League, and I think I still want the best of the best in Mexico. And I want to follow my team in Mexico, Santos Laguna. So that's not changing. I still think there's an element of Sorare that people are forgetting where even if the roadmap changes, even if it becomes more difficult, I'm going to want to collect cards still. I still enjoy having cards in Mexico. I still like watching the games and rooting for the cards I have. So I'm going to keep doing it, even though I'm not probably going to go for the more expensive cards. I was targeting Quinones, who's now at America, Brunetta. I was looking at these cards that are over £20. The best. I wanted like 5 of the best Mexican cards so I could challenge America. I think I'm still going to do that, but maybe go for some of the younger players who have brighter futures and who could move in other leagues. Yeah, it's a confusing time. All I know now is that these are the 4 I bought. Preciado was my first from Santos, and Acevedo, the goalkeeper. So I bought these 2 cards from Santos. again, the money that I paid, they're half price now. I'm not going to worry about that, okay? I enjoy having Santos cards. I enjoy rooting for Santos and want more Santos cards. Even now, even with the road update, I still think used cards will be worthwhile. And when Santos have a really good game, I'm going to enjoy putting out a Mexican stack with lots of Santos cards in there and rooting for them. I'm going to enjoy cheering for them, so that's not going to change. I bought Aldo Roca, who is the Atlas captain, for 72p. That's a bargain. Even no matter what happens with the roadmap, that's a bargain. The Atlas captain, I watched him because they played Santos last week, and I watched the game. I was really impressed with him. He's holding midfielder, makes lots of forward passes, and takes penalties. So I like him. I like how he plays the game. I like him as a character. He gets stuck in. He wins lots of tackles. And I think, he's about 30 years old now. He's the captain of the team. I think he could have a little late bloom. Watching how he played, he was the key man in that midfield. I really liked how he played, so I went for him. Taking a bit of a punt with him there. And the other one is a Necaxa defender, Alan Montes, a young under 23 defender. So again, I feel like I'm investing in the future here. Even if the Mexican league doesn't look as appealing in the future, he's a young defender that could maybe move, could maybe get a better team. And even now, at the team he's at, he's scoring really well. 56 L15. He's been doing well, can still develop. He's at a team that aren't one of the best in the league. So I could easily see him getting a move to Monterrey, America in the future, Tigres, and then really becoming a key card. So I'm investing in him. I've got one more card to buy now. And my thinking is I'm going to go for... I've got a few players. I've got 3 or 4 players that I'm scouting and monitoring the prices. All of them who have dropped. I want this player to be the 5th place so I can put a team out this weekend for Challenge America. So I need one missing card and I want it to be from Mexico. I've got a few players in mind, but I think they're going to need to be a big scorer. I don't want too much of a gamble because I kind of want to enjoy Challenge America while it's still here and really go for it. So I don't want someone who's like a long-term pick. I kind of need a short-term pick who's probably around about £10 or under. So stay tuned. Follow me on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. I will let you know who's the missing piece. I'll show you the Challenger America lineup when it's complete. But I've basically got today to finalize that. So I'll be buying that card. That'll be 5 Mexican cards I own. And then we'll see how it goes. That's how I'm playing Sorare right now. I'm going to see how it goes. So that's the Challenge America lineup. Let's take a look at the other lineups that I'm thinking of fielding this coming weekend in Gameweek 449. Here we go. These are the teams I'm thinking of playing this weekend in Gameweek 449. We've still got the cap 240 threshold of $5. We've got to enjoy that while we can. So I'm fully targeting that again. I feel like we've got a good team this week. Bilal in goal, my best goalkeeper still. I do have the Santos goalkeeper now. So I do have 2 goalkeepers I could pick from. However, he's going to be used in Challenger America. So Bilal will be playing in the 240. He's playing Besiktas. So it's going to be a tricky game. I'm not expecting too much. However, he's never really been giving me massive scores anyway. So if he can give me a respectable score and the others deliver, we should hit threshold. Pablo Mari has been a revelation for me in the last couple of weeks. He's going to be playing in goal. No change in goal. He's going to be playing in defense. He better not be playing in goal. Pablo Mari in defense. Paulinho is going to be captain again. They're playing Bournemouth at home. So I'm cautiously excited about that. Then I'm going to be sticking with the French striker who came off the bench early in the last game. So he scored his 2 goals and then they substituted him around the hour mark. So he should be nice and fresh for their game against... who's that? Bordeaux? They're playing Bordeaux. So he's playing Bordeaux and Silla. Now, this is a little bit of a gamble in my 240. Silla hasn't really done anything in the last couple of weeks. If you look at his scores, he's had a really bad couple of weeks. Since they came back from the winter break, he's not really delivered. So it's a little bit of a gamble me picking him. However, he's been playing 90 minutes in the games. It's not like he's been replaced. He's still playing 90 minutes. And they're playing an easy fixture. They're playing a home game against a team. I looked at the table. I think they're either 4th from bottom or 3rd from bottom. But they're a team towards the relegation places who concede a lot of goals. I looked at the teams who concede the most goals in that league, and they were one of the ones that conceded the most goals. So he's the player in this team that allows me to afford the other big hitters. You know, I'm expecting a lot from Mari, Paulinho, hopefully Mesa Bar, and then Silla is the kind of gamble in the team. But I think it's worth taking considering they're playing a bad team and that he's still the number one striker. So let's see how it goes. That's going to be my 240. Hopefully we can get a threshold there. And then the other one that's the serious team that I'm picking is the 220. Now again, Andy Robertson still hasn't started for Liverpool. However, he's come off the bench in the last 2 games. And this game they're playing Burnley at home. So I'm hoping if this is the game that he gets in from the starting lineup, keep a clean sheet, maybe some attacking returns. Andy Robertson with his L15 of 23 allows me to fit in Best there, allows me to fit in Castro Montes. Union SG have another good game. They're playing Westero, who are in the bottom half of the table, a team that conceded a lot of goals. So Union SG, top of the league, doing really well. I hope he does well. And then Sandro Ramirez, who's kind of an average striker for me. He doesn't really smash past 60, but if you look at his last scores, he's been doing well lately. He's been doing 63, 67, 65. If he can give me a kind of another 60 score and the others deliver, we could do well with the 220. It's all going to come down to the captain, Jan Nicholas Best there. It's all going to come down to him. If he can give me a week like last week where 90-something points and Robertson can do well, we could do well in the 220 this week. Then we're putting in an academy team just to build up experience points. One player in my academy team who I'm a little bit excited about is Oriol Mangala. He's moved from Nottingham Forest to Lyon. And I have no idea how that's going to go. I have no idea how that's going to affect his scores. However, when he was playing for Forest, the reason why I got him in my team is he was scoring well. He was involved in midfield, likes a pass, wins a lot of key tackles. So I don't know what to do with that. It's not like I can sell any of my cards anywhere at the moment because the market's gone so crazy. All the cards are worth such little. I'm not selling anyone anyway, you know, unless they're a card that I have no intention of playing, which I think there's one, Franco Servi in Spain. I've transfer listed him. And I did sell Greg Kilty, one of my cards from Scotland. I sold him because he was useless, but the rest of my cards I'm keeping. So I'm training Mangala up because I think if he does well at Lyon, he could be a nice little pick for me. Calvert-Lewin, I want to keep building his XP just in case he's on some good form now. Lapoussin, another Union SG player who started slow from the winter break, but he's back in the first team now. He did miss a few games, but hoping he does well. And then we've thrown a Premier League specialist team together. Why not? What have we got to lose? Let's just say something about one of the players in my Premier League specialist team, Sean Longstaff. Now, Sean Longstaff wasn't in any of my teams last week. Has done nothing. Last week scores 2 goals. Gives you 75. Best score he's ever got and was nowhere near my teams. So many times I've had him in my 220, had him in my Premier League specialist just as a cheap enabler for the rest of the team. Let's hope he can have back-to-back weeks where he scores 2 goals. I'm not expecting too much there, but with Premier League specialist has always been a little bit of a punt for me where I have a lot of Premier League cards because that's what I bought when I first started the game. And I've got Chelsea cards because I'm a Chelsea fan. So Sterling and Badiashile, I'm not even sure Sterling will play because Chelsea did have a good win in midweek against Aston Villa with Jackson on the wing, Palmer, Mudueke, no Sterling. Sterling wasn't in the starting lineup. So I'm not expecting him to play, but if he does, why not? I've not got many other options in the Premier League. It's either him or Christian Norgard or Kovacic. They're the only options I have. So I'm throwing that team together, not really expecting too much. It's all basically coming down to the 220 and the 240. Let's enjoy the thresholds while we can, people. I'm still loving Sorare. I'm confident, despite the roadmap, despite people worrying that it's going to be devalue all old cards and it's going to be terrible. I'm confident that I like Sorare. I've enjoyed playing Sorare. I think whatever happens in the future, it's going to be fun. Good luck with your Gameweek 449s, people. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'm still new. It helps out massively. And I'll see you next week. Peace.